Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, another culture war clown's comeuppance. First though, a transphobic lawmaker's been torn a new one by constituents in Pennsylvania in the US for deliberately misgendering a colleague during a council meeting.
We're going to follow the rules of order, and we're going to allow them to continue appropriately.
Yes, ma'am.
That, you're on notice with that comment.
Ed Brzezinski going on the attack after being pulled up by Erie City Council President Tyler Titus, who's a transgender man.
We had a city council member who was interrupting a colleague. I called for decorum, and at that point, a transphobic comment was made. We're going to disagree, right? That's democracy at its finest. But what we're not to do is degrade and forget somebody's humanity.
Thanks to Erie News Now. The Democrats' bigotries caused outrage and led to a 3-hour kicking from local people during a subsequent meeting with calls for his resignation. Brzezinski stayed silent while his backside was handed to him on a plate. He's yet to apologise because that requires strength of character.
Pride Daily.
Next, after a young boy's abused an anti-government protest in Albania for waving a rainbow flag, the Prime Minister's been defending him. Eddie Rammer expressing his solidarity, saying no one should be humiliated, excluded or attacked because they're different. The boy's flag was stolen from him during the demo in the capital, Tirana.
Pride Daily.
And an anti-queer bedwetting culture warrior in South Africa has been convicted of hate speech. Ngizwe Mkhunu posted on socials calling LGBTQ plus people dogs and groomers. He said we deserve to be in jail or die, and labelled a same-sex union a curse on society. The former radio presenter has been fined 250,000 rand, more than $15,000. He's banned from posting any more hate online and has to make a public apology. No time to tell you that Guadeloupe's getting its first ever Pride Parade. Guadeloupe being, as we all know, a group of French islands in the Caribbean. I totally knew that. Capital city Basse-Terre hosts the inaugural Creole Pride on July 25th, which is also my husband's birthday. You're welcome.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, another successful Kyiv Pride. First though, the woman who claims she's being treated as a suspect over the disappearance of her grandson because she's transgender. 4-year-old Gus Lamont vanished from his home in the outback northeast of Adelaide last September and hasn't been found despite extensive ground and air searches. Police have said previously an unnamed family member was under suspicion. Josie Murray, who's 75, tells 7 News, officers think she's buried Gus following an accident.
It's ludicrous that I would put us through this sort of turmoil. And why would I bury him? Why would I bury him? I wouldn't do that to my daughter.
Police denying Josie's gender identity is a factor. Deputy Commissioner Linda Williams.
I think the claim's nonsense. When we conduct any investigation, we always do it impartially, and I'm very proud of the professionalism shown by our officers.
Josie wants a greater focus on the possibility Gus might have been abducted.
Pride Daily.
Next, Nepal's Supreme Court ruled in favour of marriage equality, and this time it's final. There have been previous endorsements of queer unions, with same-sex ceremonies taking place, but these have been open to legal challenges. LGBTQ plus rights organisation The Blue Diamond says it's excited to witness the next steps from government in translating this ruling into practice. Or, in other words, pull your finger out and get it sorted.
Pride Daily.
And the 10th Kyiv Pride March has seen 5,000 people turn out on the streets of the Ukrainian capital. Our families are part of Ukraine was this year's theme, with calls for same-sex unions to be legalised and better protections against hate crimes. Organisers were also pushing back against plans for a new civil code, which, as we've mentioned previously, would define marriage as only between a man and a woman.
Queer Family Podcast.
If you've ever felt like your family didn't fit the traditional mold, this show is for you. I'm Jamie, host of the Queer Family Podcast. And every week we highlight LGBTQIA+ families and the beautiful, unique ways we build and show up for our families in a world that wasn't designed for us. We celebrate, highlight, uplift, and normalize queer families because our stories deserve center stage. New episodes every Monday. Listen wherever you get your pods.
Love is love on the Queer Family Podcast. Love is love. Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, a pepper spray attack at Pride. First though, transgender activists have staged a protest at the offices of LGBTQ+ rights organisation Stonewall in London. Campaigners reacting to the endorsement of Harry Potter's Wicked Grandma earlier this year by the organisation's incoming chairperson. This was swiftly rowed back, but queer advocates declaring huge respect for someone who's got, shall we say, unfavourable views about trans people. It's not great.
We are asking for a public condemnation of James blatantly transphobic rhetoric and actions. We are calling for further assurance that Stonewall UK's campaigns and programmes going forward will continue to promote trans inclusion. It's time for you to live up to your name and the history that started you.
That's part of the protest from Surrey Trans Action and Defund Transphobes in Stonewall's offices. Harry Potter's Wicked Grandma denies being a transphobe, and we all deem that to be entirely credible.
Pride Daily.
Next, queers and allies at Rome Pride have been attacked with pepper spray. It's believed the floats of transgender support organisation GenderX and the Rainbow Families Group were among those targeted, leaving people, including children, unable to breathe with burning throats and panicking. Police are reviewing security footage and a photo of the alleged attackers.
Pride Daily.
And Clive Davis, the legendary bisexual music exec behind the likes of Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Bruce Springsteen, Christina Aguilera and Pink Floyd, has died at the age of 94. His family says he'd been recovering at home in New York after a spell in hospital because of respiratory problems. They're calling him the steady presence at the centre of their lives. He came out as bi at the age of 80 back in 2013. Across a career spanning decades, Clive also brought us Barry Manilow, Alicia Keys and Iggy Pop, plus Maroon 5. So, can't have everything.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, many Australian lesbians. First though, I'm starting to think faded pop star Roisin Maloko Murphy might not be the biggest transgender ally. Nothing gets past me. The 52-year-old's announced on Twitter she's banning trans activists from her gigs, also deigning to do this on behalf of her fans, both of them. This after a number of, shall we say, troublesome statements in recent years about transgender and non-binary people, which have seen her dropped by venues and festivals and criticised by artists, including CMAT and the Blessed Madonna. Mrs Maloko was speaking at the UK's House of Lords back in April.
Being cancelled is hard. The world goes very dark, very quickly. Everyone and anyone who is ever going to disappoint you does so all at once. Networks of interwoven friendship and career that took years to grow collapse overnight. It's bewildering and it's a bitter pill.
Thoughts and prayers. In that latest mulling on Twitter, Maloko Murphy says, "I need to know my audience has my back. Many of us would like to see the back of you." To be fair, she did actually apologise over one of her previous statements and clearly meant it.
Pride Daily.
Next, it's exactly 4 years since a terror attack in and around an LGBTQ+ bar in Norway. It left 2 people dead and 9 badly injured in 2022 as Pride celebrations were taking place at Oslo's London pub. Zania Matapur fired 10 rounds with a machine gun and 8 with a handgun, the Iranian-born Norwegians doing 30 years for terrorism and murder.
Pride Daily.
And behold, the lesbians of Australia. This is the project of portrait artist Stacey Bennett, who's painted 100 lesbians from across her country, says when she came out at the age of 14, there were no role models, and this is a way of putting that right for future generations. Want to see the portraits? Course you do. There's a link in our show notes. No time to tell you that Booking.com's being accused of promoting LGBT propaganda among children in Russia. The case will be heard by a court in Moscow on August 18th. And the rainbow flag was flown for the first time 48 years ago. Drag queen and designer Gilbert Baker's creation was unfurled at San Francisco's Gay and Lesbian Freedom Day Parade on June 25th, 1978.
Pride Daily.
Hi there, I'm Kev McGrath. Coming up, South Korea's best buys. First though, anyone pushing the abuse known as conversion therapy in England and Wales could be jailed for up to 5 years. The draft of a ban on attempts to change someone's sexuality or gender identity has finally been published, having first been promised back in 2018. Could be ages before it's actually law, but we take these wins where we can. There'd also be an unlimited fine. Carolyn Mercer's a transgender survivor. She was put through conversion therapy back in 1964.
I was taken into a darkened room, struck to a chair, electrodes attached to my arm, soaked in salt water to make the contact better. Pictures were projected onto the wall in front of me of women to make me associate pain with what I wanted to be or who I saw myself as being.
Thanks to ITV News, the Christian Institute's concerned about the plans to criminalise what the draft bill describes as abusive acts. It says people should pray that the freedom to share the gospel will be protected. So that's their priority, not abuse.
Pride Daily.
Next, another day, another homophobic Australian sportsman, talking rugby this time rather than football though. A 6-match ban for Newcastle Knights forward Arsu Kepa'awa for something he said during a recent game, probably rhymes with maggot. The 26-year-old's apologised and acknowledged the harm caused by his choice of words. He's the latest in what's now quite a long line of mainly football players in Australia to be punished for their bigotry.
Pride Daily.
And South Korea's got its first ever bisexual dating show. Stand By Me, you get it? Sees 4 male and 4 female contestants living together in a shared house for a week, and we get to see if anything blossoms. Comes from the makers of queer dating shows His Man and To Get Her Together. You can find it on the streaming platform Wave.
Pride Daily.
No time to tell you that. Everything edition. Seattle hosts the World Cup Pride match later as Iran face Egypt, 2 countries where homosexuality is illegal. Iran's got the death penalty. Sparkle Weekend, the UK's longest-running celebration of transgender lives, kicks off today in Manchester. You've got Dublin Dyke March later, does what it says on the tin. The Gay Games, the world's biggest LGBTQ+ sports and culture event, gets going today in Valencia. It's National HIV Testing Day tomorrow. Sunday is the 57th anniversary of New York's Stonewall riots, which really kicked off the gay rights movement in America and around the world. Also International Pride Day on Sunday. And we're nearly done. There's many prides over the weekend, including in Budapest, Dublin, San Francisco, Naples, that's the 30th anniversary, and New York City. Phew. There's more on our socials at Pride Daily Pod, including any breaking news. That's your lot. I'll see you next week.